Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And I really want to thank Ken Berthelot, Bernard Fernandez, and Doug Deegan for that fine introduction. They say you never know where the angels are, and believe me, those guys fit the description. Because without them, I wouldn't be here. They really pushed my case for the Hall of Fame committee and those that considered it. I want to thank the Sugar Bowl committee, the Hall of Fame committee, especially those guys that voted for me. And I want to thank the young people who got earlier awards. I want to thank you for being a shining example to the younger students that are in school today and fighting for survival in this multicultural society that we live in. You show dedication, determination, and self-discipline, and those are all key things that you need to be successful as an athlete and in life. I want to thank Devin White also. He's coming up, I think, later on for winning the Jim Corbett Award. As an LSU alum, he is the shining example and prototype of the student athlete we want at LSU. I want to congratulate you a little ahead of time and wish you all the best of luck in the NFL. And to all the other winners, the coaches, and all the distinguished guys that really have been awarded here. And of course, my fellow inductees. We're just getting acquainted, haven't met everybody yet, but this is a moment that I will always remember, and especially the names. And I watched you guys play and read about your coaching, and I'm just honored to be with you and to be named with you. I've got to say that I owe everything that I have and everything that I've been able to do to the good Lord God. Without him, who delivered me through many years of football without any serious injury, except for a little knee and shoulder here and there, which is normal routine. I've been very blessed. And I want to thank my mom and dad. Obviously can't be here, they passed away. My brothers and sisters, my nieces and nephews, our family. We are family. Thank you for your love and support over all these years. I love you back more than you'll ever know. I want to thank you to the brothers and the coaches and all of my teammates at Holy Cross, LSU, and in the NFL. My story begins as a freshman at Holy Cross when I enrolled as a boarding student. I kind of stumbled around the first year trying to figure out the routine and the boarding school program, getting to know my coaches and trying to make friends with guys that I thought I should make friends with and I wanted to like, and guys that I wanted to like me. Some of those guys are still here with me, not still here, but here, and still here, fortunately. They didn't leave. Coach Callbacker was our head coach, football coach, and he hired 3 graduate assistants from Tulane, Jim Carmody and Tony Reginelli, and Tommy Warner. Jim Carmody went on to coach in the NFL and became the head coach at Mississippi Southern. Tony Reginelli is a member of this Hall of Fame. Tommy Warner is a successful businessman in St. Bernard Parish. The other coach was Ed Toohey. Just dearly loved Ed. He's coached in football and basketball, and he just was an all-time great. And he's also a member of this Hall of Fame. And Brother Melchior. Brother Melchior ran our prefect of discipline, and took care of the kitchen and the boarding school cafeteria. And I worked for him as a waiter and as a dishwasher. And he coached me in the shot put and the discus. He was a wrestling coach, but I was obviously too tall and lanky to wrestle. But I remember his best line of coaching me in the shot and the discus was, stay in the ring and give it all you got. My second year at Holy Cross began with the dreaded two-a-day practices, which are kind of going on right now in the heat of the summer. Not being very mentally tough or physically tough, I got to be honest with you, I really hated it. I didn't like the two-a-days. And after about 4 or 5 days of that, I went to Coach Callbacker and I said, Coach, I don't think this is for me, man. I was thinking about being in the gym with shorts and T-shirts on and bouncing the basketball. And he said, well, stick with it. He said, I got confidence in you. I think you're going to be okay. And he says, and besides, we're going to put in a couple of short passes for you, just for you. And he said, all you got to do is come off the ball 4 or 5 yards and jump up and catch the ball. I said, well, that kind of got me hooked, because the thought of catching a pass in City Park Stadium was just really exciting and something I was looked forward to, and I was really hooked. We went on to win a lot of games at Holy Cross. We never quite won a championship, but I did catch a lot of passes, and we had a very successful program, and I had some great instruction, great coaching, and great teaching. And for Holy Cross, I'm eternally grateful. After that, the college recruiting started, and I was way down on the Industrial Canal with Holy Cross, a boarding school, and started getting these letters, and got invited to Tennessee and down to Florida, up to Ole Miss, and down to Alabama to the great Bear Bryant. Jim Besselman, Mike Calamari, and I went to Tuscaloosa, and we went to Coach Bryant's house, and first time I'd ever seen a professional cook, but he had his own cook in his house there, and he served us a really nice steak dinner, and we kind of chewed the fat and hemmed and hawed. And after dinner, he said, I'd like to sign all 3 of you guys. Are you interested in coming to the University of Alabama? Of course, Jim and Mike said, well, Coach, we're kind of thinking about going to Tulane. And I said, well, I really don't know where I'm going yet. There's a couple of more trips I'm going to take, and I wanted to take the trips just because I'd never been there, any of these places before. But I'd have to ride the bus, the St. Claude Avenue bus, up to Canal Street, and transfer to the Tulane bus, go over to the Carrollton bus, and then get on the Jefferson bus and go out to Moyzan Airport. You could do all of that for 17 cents, probably back then. But in my second year, back then LSU had the three platoon teams. They had the white team, which started, went both ways, and they had the GO team, GO, which was short for gold, and we were strictly offense. And then, of course, they had the famous Chinese bandits. I was able to make the GO team, and we were pretty successful. 1961, we were undefeated up until our 4th game. Ole Miss came to town. They were rated number 1. And when offenses weren't very imaginative back then, but Coach Diesel, for some reason, he put in a 4th down pass, just a short little jump pass, just as a kind of a last-ditch chance in the event we needed to get a 1st down. And the game went back and forth, and Ole Miss was ahead 7-3. About just a few minutes left in the game. We were down in the red zone, and sure enough, we found ourselves with a 4th and 4 situation. Of course, Diesel, I was sitting on the bench. Coach Diesel said, "Truax, let's go. Let's go in and tell Lynn to, let's call that jump pass that we practiced a few times." So I did. I got off the ball and got around the guy that was trying to hold me up. And Lynn Amity was kind of about 5'8", 5'9" guy. He jumped up and threw the ball kind of down at a 12-6 arc. And I was able to catch the ball, get my hands on it, catch the ball, roll over. And I looked up and I heard the crowd yelling, and the referee says, "First down." That was just really an exciting moment for me. We went. The next play, Lynn Amity went around left end for the winning touchdown, and we upset Ole Miss and beat them. It was just a magical moment. We went on and had a couple of more good years. We went to the Orange Bowl first. We went undefeated after that Ole Miss game, and went to the Orange Bowl in Colorado, beat Colorado, and wound up number 3 in the country, I believe. And the next year, we beat Texas in the Cotton Bowl over in Dallas. I'm looking forward to that game this year with Texas again, of course. And after that, my senior year, I was lucky enough to be drafted in the NFL by the Cleveland Browns. And they thought I could play either offensive tackle or tight end or defensive end or linebacker. And so we just went with the flow. And another thing I need to mention about that, Paul Warfield was the number 1 choice. And out of our class, 11 of those guys wound up in the NFL Hall of Fame. That was really a good class. Anyway, I was Jim Brown's last year at Cleveland also. For those of you that can remember that far back, the all-time great Jim Brown. I got hurt early on in training camp. They were trying to make me a linebacker, and I was in the position. I made a pitch to Leroy Kelly coming out of the backfield, and I turned to run with him to the sideline, and I tore a hamstring from the bottom of my hip down to the back of my knee, and I was out for 6 weeks. And when I got well, they traded me to the Los Angeles Rams. And the Los Angeles Rams back then, I think we won 1 or 2 games. We had 14 rookies. It was just a franchise that was kind of in decline and just really not going anywhere fast. We had 2 years of that, and then they hired George Allen from the Chicago Bears. He had just won the national championship, the world championship with the Bears. He was another guy that liked short passes, and I was able to catch a few passes and continue making a living catching ball, which is what I really like to do. We went in 1969 was our best team. We got Roman Gabriel was our most valuable player, and we really had a Super Bowl team. And we went all the way through the playoffs to Minnesota and played outside in Bloomington in a kind of an icy field. Of course, they had to play on it too. We were ahead, but they came back and beat us and knocked us out. Because Minnesota went on to lose to Kansas City in that Super Bowl. We played another year there. We had kind of an also-ran year, 8 wins. And at the end of that year, they fired George Allen and traded me to Dallas. Dallas was just coming off of a loss of Super Bowl number 5. And he still had the same guys, still veteran team. That was with Roger Staubach and Tom Landry. It was a really good team, and we made it back to the Super Bowl right here in New Orleans. And We were able to win 24-3 over the Miami Dolphins. Don Shula, after that game, the Miami coach said that was the worst whipping he'd ever gotten. He said, and up until this past year, I think, when the Rams were in the playoffs and held somebody's scores, we were the only team to hold our opponent without a touchdown, I think for about 47 years. So that was a really good team. Let's see what else we got here. As I said, Landry and Staubach went on to both become members of the Hall of Fame and continue coaching and playing. And I played 2 more years, and that was about it. So that's kind of a little bit from Holy Cross and from LSU, from the NFL. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I want to close with something that's going to sound a little strange, because it's a Latin statement, and it's a line from Robin Williams in his movie Dead Poets Society. He was an instructor at an academy, and the last day of his last lecture, he stood on the desk and he told the class, his final words were, "Gentlemen, carpe diem." That means seize the day or seize the moment. And I'm trying to muster all of my energy and enthusiasm to seize this moment. I want to thank the Sugar Bowl Committee again, and the Hall of Fame Committee, and everyone still here for your patience. And God bless New Orleans. God bless USA. And thank you, New Orleans.